Hi, thank you, everybody. Okay, welcome to the webinar. Maybe Miriam, can you let me know that you hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming through great.
Okay, and that you're recording the webinar?
Indeed.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, welcome to our webinar. A brief outline of what we're going to be speaking about today. Number one, we'll talk about who we are briefly. We'll talk about what is Jive. Jive is a collaboration platform. We'll ask about the question, why is it useful to publish to Jive, our content? We'll discuss the constraints with the Jive platform, particularly within the context of publishing content or technical documentation content into that platform. We'll talk about the solution, and then we'll show you a demo of the solution of content actually published to Jive from DITA, as well as publishing content from a content management system. So Switch Solutions is a company that specializes in helping companies to provide quick access to relevant information. That generally means helping companies to get up and running with XML-based authoring and publishing solutions. We have a number of platforms that we provide to our customers, and we're happy to provide to you as well. Dynamic publishing and HTML5-based publishing. Today we're going to be focusing particularly on publishing from DITA to HTML5 and from HTML5 into the Jive platform. So the Jive platform is a social collaboration platform, and there are a number of collaboration platforms on the market. I think Jive is one of the more popular ones. As a service company, we have a lot of customers who are using Jive as their collaboration platform for their company. Jive is interesting because it can be used either internally or externally, meaning you can use it as a collaboration platform between people inside your organization to share knowledge, to help with internal development, to create or to get feedback on information or content, and generally help each other out. It can also be used externally, so you can collaborate with your customers and partners. So as customers are using your products or learning about how to use them or possibly purchasing them, they can ask questions and get answers, either from other customers or partners or from people inside of your company who could answer those questions. The Jive platform provides forums or communities for discussions and polls and also documents, and that's really what we're going to be focusing on today. Right? And the nice thing about it also is it provides a facility for commenting and discussions per comment for documents. So on a document level, you can create or generate or request feedback, and to use that for either for helping to make content more clear, or just generally helping the discussion of as people are throwing ideas back and forth and helping each other. So that all sounds really good. So what could be wrong with social collaboration, right? The problem is that with this new social collaboration, Jive runs the danger of becoming yet another silo in the organization. Okay, so new content gets created through collaboration, which is great. But the problem is that the official voice of the company, which is often your documentation that you invested time and resources to create, gets lost from that conversation. Okay, and unless there's a effective way of getting that documentation as part of this conversation, as part of this collaboration platform, then your documentation cannot provide the value that they really should be. Okay, so you could say, fine, I have a social collaboration platform called Communities, and I have my documentation platform. Customers can go find my documentation on the website under the documentation link, and then they can also go to the community to find more information. The problem is the customers don't know where to go first. Should they go to the community first? Should they go to the documentation first? Where are they most likely to get the quickest answer to their question most effectively? And being social creatures that we are, and for better and for worse, we don't all enjoy jumping up and down to at the opportunity to read more documentation. So we're going to go to the community and try to get an answer there. Okay, so therefore we really want to make sure that our documentation are somehow inside that community in a way that's accessible and fits within the framework and the context of how that community works. Okay, I'm going to take a break here and show you an example of a Jive community. Okay, what you should be seeing on the screen now is a community from the VMware website. Okay, there are many, many websites out there, and there are many, many companies who are using Jive. I happen to pick one that I know is using Jive, just to give you an idea. Okay, so inside the community, there are different, I guess, forums or communities. And inside each forum, there's an opportunity to have blog posts or discussions or documents. As we spoke about before, click on this Documents tab, and I'll get a list of documents that are available for me to look at. It's going particularly slow for me. So I'm going to jump to another example. They also are using Jive as their community platform. Wait for this screen to refresh. Okay, there you should see it. Hitachi is also an example of a company that uses Jive internally as well as externally. This happens to be the external community site. So from the Hitachi website, I click here on Community on top right. When I click on that, then I get to the communities, and then I can go and find a community to look into. Okay. So we clicked on this forum called Cloud. And in here I have a bunch of content. And down here I have a bunch of documents. Now, a document can be, I guess, a single discrete unit, okay? Or it can be like a discussion, okay, where I would have some content and then a discussion, okay? Okay, here's another example here. Okay, here's someone who wrote a document. At the bottom there it can be comments about that content. Okay. So back to the slides. Okay, so we talked about the challenge of Jive becoming another silo, and we talked about the advantages of getting our content to be accessible inside of Jive. So we could say, no problem, just post a PDF inside of Jive, and that's what we saw just before. I'm going to flip back into the community here. If you see here, there's a number of documents which are really just links to PDFs. So I click on one of them. I'm going to get a little, really like a Jive document or a description plus a linked PDF. Okay, so that's definitely a possibility. Okay, but the problem with that is that we didn't go and invest in topic-based content in order that we should go backwards and develop back into a PDF inside of a platform such as Jive. I mean, we're moving forward up the food chain to get to the point where we can collaborate in a topic-based format using Jive, but then here we go ahead and publish a large PDF inside of the Jive platform. Just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the idea is that to try to find a way that we can publish our DITA content into the Jive and have each topic discrete as a Jive document. Okay, but there are some constraints with the Jive platform. Number one, documents in Jive are meant to be small and discrete, whereas often our technical manuals are, even though they're made of small topics, they're generally larger. There may be tens of pages, there may be hundreds of pages, or even thousands of pages. Okay, but in Jive, really, it's meant to have each document to be something that's relatively small, or an attached monolithic document like a PDF. Tech docs are often comprised of many pages that are pulled together in this hierarchy, but there's no way to easily create this navigation between Jive documents. Okay, and there's also no real easy facility or straightforward facility for creating any kind of hierarchy. So it's very good that I would be able to access each DITA topic discretely as a Jive document, but if I'm uploading a publication, I want to be able to navigate through the publication just like I would in an online help file or in some kind of knowledge base. Okay, I would like to have some kind of a hierarchy to know the context from where this topic is accessed. Okay. The other problem is that spilling a bunch of topics into Jive can create a big mess. Right? So Jive has these communities and forums, but if we just willy-nilly take our topics and just spill them into this big area, then it'll be very hard to maintain them, to update them. And there's no way to really control the formatting. So the HTML that goes into Jive must be very clean and must be very simple. Okay. So those are the main constraints that we found when working with customers who want to be able to get their content into Jive. Okay, so the solution is to create, is to be able to publish a DITA map to a particular Jive space or a place. Okay, and we want each publication to be self-contained and maintainable inside of that place or space. We want to publish each DITA topic to a clean HTML as a discrete document, as we spoke about. We want to automatically generate links between the documents. So the hierarchy links or those parent-child links will help us to create some kind of a navigation, quote-unquote, up and down the structure of a larger document. Okay, basically artificially creating navigation through a structured document. We want to be able to generate cross-references and relationship links. Okay, I think in this type of a platform, I think relationship links really show themselves as being very valuable. So although we're going to be discussing how we can create a hierarchy, a document hierarchy or publication hierarchy inside of Jive, really, I think ultimately the value of relationships and links really shows itself in this type of atmosphere where there really essentially is no built-in hierarchy inside of this platform. We want to create breadcrumbs to provide additional navigation around that publication. I'll show you how that's going to work. And then create a separate document or separate Jive document containing a table of contents, which will give us quick links to be able to move up and down that, jump into a particular part of the document. And then ultimately, if we have metadata, we'd like to be able to apply Jive tags using the DITA metadata. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so what you should be seeing on my screen now is a demo site that we have on Jive. Okay, and as we mentioned, we have something called places, and each places can basically be groupings of documents or discussions. Okay, so what we've done is I've published a guide that was authored in DITA into a particular place. I'm going to click on it now. I'm going to open up that group. Okay, inside this group I see a number of topics or really of Jive documents that really represent a single DITA topic. Okay, and once I click into one of these topics, then I get the actual topic. Okay. Okay, then maybe we'll navigate through those topics using parent-child links. You see on the bottom. Okay, as well as the breadcrumbs that was put on the bottom. So on the bottom, we're able to see that through these breadcrumbs, we're able to navigate through the document. So I'm going to go up a level. Okay, I'm going to go click on Home, and by clicking on Home I get to the linked table of contents, which will allow me to get quick links through the rest of the entire document. Okay, so in this way we've been able to take a DITA publication published inside of Jive, create a document in Jive which essentially is a table of contents, be able to link the topics together using the various types of links that we'd be able to get inside of the DITA topics, the parent-child relationships, relationship links, and the XREFs. Okay, and then able to jump through into the document. Okay, and part of this is obviously making sure that the graphics and the figures are going to come through as well in LinkedIn. Okay. I'm going to go back to the slides. Now the pyrotechnics behind the solution is an offering called the DITA accelerator. DITA accelerator is a publishing technology that we've developed here, and Suite Solutions has been in successful production over the past at least 3 years by many companies, in dozens of companies in our space. We're creating DITA. We're publishing DITA to various formats, whether it be help or EPUB, dynamic publishing like SweetShare, and now this the new plugin that we have that will take DITA and publish it up to Jive. So HTML5 generation happens through the DITA accelerator. I'm using a templating language, which does not require does not require XSL or XPath. Basically, it has a topic mapping mechanism, which is a class map, which allows you to map your DITA elements into HTML5 elements. So if you have specializations, then you could easily map those specializations into HTML elements. It's very quick. It can generate, as a benchmark, around 10,000 topics in 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how many key refs and XREFs and tables and things you have. So it's very quick. The DITA accelerator is provided as a DITA OT plugin, but does not require the DITA OT. That basically means you can easily integrate it with your CMS, but it also means it's easy to run as a command line. So if you can run it and work with it without needing to install a whole DITA toolkit installation. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is a process of going ahead and publishing. So I'm going to go to Jive here, and I'm going to create a new place. Okay. Go here and create a new place down here. I'm going to give it a name. Okay, so I gave it a name, and Jive assigned it a unique a folder or a URL. I'm going to copy that. Click on Preview, and then I'm going to create the group by clicking on this button down in the bottom. Now we have a new group. Okay, now I'm going to go to my CMS. Okay, in this case, I'm using a CMS based on SharePoint, which is called XPoint. And this could obviously work on whatever CMS you're using. So even though I'm publishing here from my CMS that we've installed this DITA to Jive plugin in, the idea is that you would be able to publish from your CMS by installing the plugin inside your publishing tool via a DITA toolkit integration. Okay, so I'm going to go here, I'm going to publish this document, this map, and click on Publish Output. I'm going to choose the format. And I'm going to choose Jive Community. I can paste in the name of the Jive place. I'm going to hit on Publish. And when I hit Publish, then the CMS is going to extract all of the content from the CMS. It's then going to publish it and then upload it to Jive. Okay, so that'll take about a minute or two. Okay, so as we said, the main idea here is to be able to get to a place where we can very easily install this plugin on your CMS, so that the idea is being able to create DITA maps and then publish those DITA maps directly into a Jive place. Once the Jive place is up, as your content becomes updated in your CMS, you would be able to go and automatically update that content by republishing into that Jive space. And in that way, you can keep your content fresh inside. Okay. Now, one of the nice things about Jive is that a facility for comments and providing feedback. And as time goes on, we're going to be, looking for different strategies for what to do, whether to maintain those comments even as the content gets updated, or to be able to flush those content as the content gets updated. These are things that we're looking into as implementation, and obviously, as we'd be happy to hear from you in the community about how you would want that to work. There's a relatively new plugin. We have some customers who are already thinking about and already implementing that as a pilot. But the question really is going to be really how to manage this type of content, or the official content going into Jive community, and really having it work properly with the paradigm of collecting feedback and the collaboration type of format or paradigm, but yet still have this idea of the official docs. Let me see if this finished publishing. Okay, looks like it's done. I'm going to go back to my Jive space. Which you should be seeing on the screen shortly. And click on the space. And now we'll have the content that we just published from the CMS. Okay. So what we've seen here now really is from start to finish how we're able to take content from the content management system using a DITA map, publish it into a Jive place, have each topic coming in as a particular document, creating these breadcrumbs. So we create the hierarchy, and then able to have a table of contents where we can navigate to the content. Okay. At this point, I'd like to open up to questions.
Would you like me to read the questions, Joe, or you want to just handle them yourself?
I can see the questions, thank you. Is there a way to get a master PDF that encompasses all the content from linked child pages? So the idea here is not to create a PDF from this thing, but rather to get away from the idea of using PDFs and allow you to have each topic as a particular specific document. If I'm not understanding your question, feel free to type in another question. Another question, can there be more than one guide per group or space, or are the docs named the same to prevent this? So right now we do allow you to put as much content as you want inside the same group. So if you wanted to update or put multiple DITA publications inside the same space, and the table of contents are named differently or uniquely, so you would be able to separate between the two and still be able to navigate between the two or more publications. The next question is, can you control the CSS that is displayed within these DITA documents, or will Jive override these? So Jive does not provide a way, at least straightforward way, to change the CMS. change the CSS. Once you do again, the Jive people can probably tell you this better, but once you run an implementation with Jive, there is a way that you can customize the interface, like I showed you with the Hitachi system, that you really are able to customize. But from our point of view, meaning from a publishing point of view, from content going in, you do not have any control over the CSS. You cannot implant any JavaScripts, nothing dynamic at all. It really has to be very, very clean and straightforward HTML in order for it to really publish properly. Can the DITA content be edited from within Jive? If not, what happens if someone tries? Okay, so that's a good question. I believe that's based on the permissions and whether you will allow people to, or certain users, to be able to edit their content. If someone else from the Jive community is out there, they can maybe answer that question and type it into the question box. That would be great. Are you considering a Confluence integration? Much better facility for asserting hierarchy of topics. That's a good question. We'll definitely have to think about that. Confluence definitely has its own set of challenges, because Confluence is a much more flattening DITA content into the Confluence markup language turns out to be a much bigger challenge than creating HTML. We've had customers that we worked with to create Confluence markup before, and it was definitely possible. It was very, very difficult. It's very different. I think at that point we found it was impossible to replicate certain DITA constructs. What needs to happen on the Jive side? What is the nature of the connection between the CMS and Jive? It's a good question. So our plugin uses a Java integration with Jive. So as long as you have an internet connection to Jive and you have authorization to log into Jive using the API, then that should be enough to publish from your CMS into Jive. Okay, so as long as your CMS is not behind a firewall and does have a way of getting an internet connection out, then yes, you would be able to publish to Jive.
Oh, we have one more question. I think we have time to answer it. Do we, Joe?
Okay. Sure. Regarding changing Jive content, in Jive, the group owner can restrict who can edit documents in the group. So the answer is yes, you would be able to edit content, but that becomes a policy question and a workflow question if you want to allow that and what's going to happen to that content once it is updated.
Okay, great. So stay tuned to see a link to the recorded webinar, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you also to those from Jive who have joined us also and provided me help with preparing this and developing this plugin as well as the presentation. So thank you very much to you.
Thank you.